Sosabowski?
I'm Tony Hibbert, and I first met General Sosabowski in 1943 when he was commanding the brigade, the independent parachute brigade, the Polish parachute brigade. He had been a hero to the Poles ever since the end of the First World War. He had been fighting for the freedom of Poland, fighting against the Russians and the Austrians, and again the Russians, and finally against the Germans. And when Germany sued for peace, Sosabowski escaped from prison and led about 5,000 free Poles through France when France sued for peace, and came to England, and he offered his Poles to the Brits to join us in the struggle against Hitler.
Okay, so what kind of person was he?
He was a very impressive person, and a fairly short temper, which didn't go down very well with the British generals, who most of whom had been to Eton. But in due course, he raised the Polish Parachute Brigade, #1 Polish Parachute Brigade, and which became operation ready for action at just the time that Arnhem came on the horizon.
Now, there's been quite a lot of criticism of Sosabowski and the Poles' role at Arnhem. Do you think that's justified? Do you think the criticism of Sosabowski and the Poles' role at Arnhem, do you think the criticism is justified?
Absolutely not. We found I was fighting alongside the Poles in and around Arnhem during the battle, and generally speaking, the problem with them is that they would go for any German they saw, like a dog after a rat. They hated the Germans, and the one thing you could not suggest to tell they, or whatever anyone said, they were not whatever anyone says, they were always pining for a go at the Dutch, for a go at the Germans, and to that extent they were a bit difficult to control. But certainly during the last 4 days of the action, the Poles alone held the escape line in Operation Berlin. They held the line during the escape Operation Berlin, and without this rearguard action, none of our own paras would have escaped. We owe them a lot.
Now, you were involved in a memorial, I think, isn't that right? Can you tell us about that and how that came about?
After the Battle of Arnhem, General Sosabowski was dismissed, and he lost also his rank in the army and his pension. And I regret to say that he died a disgraced pauper. There were many in the British parachute regiment who felt that this who wished. There were many of the British parachute regiment who felt that this dismissal was was unfair. Can you say that this dismissal was unfair, and a small number of the officers, including Brian Eckert, Tony Hibbert, and many others, raised a memorial to General Sosabowski to record continuing continuing confidence in the Poles and General Sosabowski, and they raised a memorial in which raised a memorial which confirmed our confidence in the bravery of the Brigade and General Sosabowski, and our great regret that he had been unfairly dismissed.
What would you like to see happen now?
We felt at the time that his dismissal was unfair. And with every year that goes by, we feel his dismissal should be rescinded